Hello and welcome to the video. I'm so glad you're here with me today to join me on this amazing flight. We've got some custom scenery. We've actually imported some scenery from Google Maps. So the whole of Manchester, it's going to look amazing. It's going to look photogrammetry pretty much. And we're in a Cessna 152 for this flight. It's like one of the slower planes, but it means we'll be able to see all the beautiful scenery, fly nice and low, close to all the buildings. It'll be amazing. So I've basically started up the engines. It's such a nice day. Look, not a cloud in the sky is there. And this little grass runway here. We'll soon be taxiing to, I think it's runway 10. We'll be taking off in that direction towards the centre of Manchester and doing a bit of sightseeing. I personally am from the East Midlands in the UK, but now I do live in Manchester. I don't live too far away from the centre, so I do actually know it quite well. But let's have a look at the flight plan, shall we? Right, okay, so this is Manchester. We're on Google Maps here. So this is the centre right in the middle, as some of you may be aware. We'll be taking off from an airport in the west. It's actually quite a small one. It's these little grass runways here. So we'll be taking out from here, and then we'll be going straight over this little stadium here. And I'll do like a vague sort of rundown of what we're going to be doing now, and then as you can see when we get into the flight you'll be able to sort of see where we're going. We're going to be heading past the Trafford Center, which is a massive shopping centre, down towards the centre of Manchester. Then we'll be doing like a little U-turn and like looking around here, going up to Heaton Park, which is amazing. I'll talk about that more later on. Then we'll head back towards Manchester past a football stadium. I'll explain which one it is in a bit, and past another football stadium, back into the same airport. But bear with me, it will look amazing on the return as well. I'll do something that will blow your mind. But yeah, let's jump into the plane and let's get going. Right, okay, so we're back in the plane. We're going to sort of taxi down to, it's actually 08 the runway. So let's get there. Let's take the parking brake off. If it's that button. Oh, don't seem to be moving. Bear with me. Oh, there we go. Yep, so the parking brake is gone. We just need to avoid this little man here, almost chopped off his arm. I don't know why he's standing so close right in front of me. But yeah, that's all. We've got the nice blue line as well. I'm going to turn that off in the next flight. It's just here to help me when I'm slightly new to the game, you know. I'm actually playing this on PC, but I know it's coming out soon on the Xbox Series X and S, so hopefully some more of you guys can play it, because it's absolutely amazing. You can make it as realistic or as arcadey as you want. It's actually such a great game. So yeah, we've sort of sped down to the end of the runway. We're gonna slightly brake and turn it around. Hopefully that's turned around nicely. Just a bit more power. Okay, 08. So I think this is runway here. It is slightly confusing with these other lines, but let's hope for the best. So I'm going to just put down some flaps. It's actually quite a short runway, so I'm going to need 2 notches of flaps. As you can see, it's down here, so I'd just do 1 more. And if you don't know, the flaps make this go down. So for an example, this is no flaps. It's just basically a straight wing. And when I start to put flaps down, it basically means the aircraft would get slower, but it sort of raises it up, so it's quite good for takeoff because it would raise the aircraft up as we go, so it can take off at a slower speed. But let's get going. Let's put a bit of power into it. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it, the Cessna 152. Let's take the parking brake off and let's get this show on the road, shall we? So try and keep towards the centre line. There we go, maximum power. And let's take off from this amazing airport. So we're at about 40 knots now. When we get to about 55 or 60, I'm going to ease back on the stick, and hopefully we've got takeoff. Yep, there we go, positive rate. We don't have a landing going here. The wheels just stay down, as you can see, so don't have to worry about that. But I've got positive climb, so I can start to put my flaps back up. Just let's get a little bit higher than that. And here we go, is our first photogrammetry thing. It's actually the AJ Bell Arena Stadium. It's actually used for a bit of rugby. But it's absolutely amazing, this. I can't wait to show it you. This scenery. Yeah, so we're going to put our flaps right up to the top and we can start to ease back on the throttle here. If you're actually wondering what this weird building is here, it's actually a ski slope. It's indoor ski slopes. There is a lift hill right to the top here, and then you can get to come down. And then this is called the Trafford Center. It's basically a massive shopping centre, like one of the biggest in Europe. It's absolutely huge. I think it's got a food court themed around like a cruise ship. It's got quite a funky theme. But yeah, it's massive, and they've just started building this expansion right down here, which you've got to get a little walkway to. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible there. Not that I like doing much shopping, but as you can see, we're heading towards the centre of Manchester. That is just straight there on the horizon. We're actually going quite fast, so I'm going to ease back in the throttle a little bit. Make sure we keep a positive rate. I'm aiming for about 1,000 feet here, just to keep us up in the sky and at a nice level. But I don't want to go too fast, so I can show you all this amazing scenery. So here you might be wondering, wait, this isn't in the centre? You might be wondering why there's loads of sort of tall buildings around here, a lot of sort of stuff going on. This is actually called Media City, so it's where a lot of UK TV companies, BBC, ITV, they all like make shows around here. They've got loads of studios, offices, all kinds of stuff really. I don't really know what goes on, it's all top secret, isn't it? But yeah, that's around here. Just look how gorgeous it is though to work here. I think the tram from the centre of Manchester, it actually comes right here. So it was right by the offices. If you're wondering what that is over there, that's Old Trafford, where Manchester United play their football. We'll be looking at that later on as well, on the return back to the airport. As I say, this is actually just quite a short flight. It'll probably take about 10-15 minutes, but it's just a nice introduction to Manchester. So we're coming up towards the centre here. As you can see, the sort of river follows on all the way through the centre. Yeah, in the centre it's having quite a lot of development recently. We've got like loads of tall offices, residential stuff. Not that I come here more often, not that I come here much to be fair, because when I literally moved to Manchester, COVID started, didn't it? So of course it had to. So yeah, I've not really had full chance to explore really. But you know, Microsoft, this is quite a good way to explore it, you know, from the sky. You can actually see everything. Yeah, so this is the centre of Manchester. A couple of things to spot is it was one of the oldest railway stations in the UK, but it's actually got turned into a conference centre, so it's not being used anymore. This is Pixley Gardens down here. It's like one of the main sort of sites of Manchester, so to speak. It's like the centre of all the shops. This is like Piccadilly Station. This is the main station where you can get trains all the way down to London, Sheffield, all kinds of places, you name it. Manchester Piccadilly probably goes there. We actually are quite high, so I'm going to ease back on the throttle just a touch. Start to come down a little bit so we can get a great view of Manchester. So if you're noticing what's on your left right here, we've got an athletics track, but soon you should be able to see the Etihad Stadium. So that's where Manchester City play their Premier League football. They've won the Premier League a few times and Champions League, but they've never actually won it, but they've been close. Yeah, so it's such a big stadium, but it looks tiny from the sky, doesn't it? Like when you fly in, it just changed the perspective of everything. But there we go, that's the Etihad there. It's even got the branding on, and directly linked to it, you're probably thinking, don't you just need one football pitch to play Premier League football? No, but Manchester City, they're like one of the best in the country, so they have to go over the top. They've got like 12 football pitches. It's absolutely crazy. Let's just reset the camera. There we go. You know, as you can see, Manchester is almost in like a bowl of countrysides. Like everywhere you look, there's hills around us. That's the beauty, I think, of Manchester. Like when you come into the centre from far away, you can see the other side of Manchester through all the skyscrapers. It's quite incredible. So we're just going to do a quick U-turn back towards the centre, but I'll take you up towards that place I mentioned, Heaton Park. But first, I'm just going to make sure we get to the centre. We actually are quite low now, so let's trim up. If you are new to sort of flying, trim is basically just used so you don't have to have your hand on the joystick all the time. It just basically gives it a bit of a break, and it means it automatically climbs up for you. Yeah, so we're at a nice level there. Let's trim it back a little so we are about level, so we're not climbing or falling. Yeah, and that's a nice little view of the Etihad there as well. Beautiful. It's such a nice day as well. So I've got a couple of people flying near us. No one in the centre of Manchester yet. I think people are there because that's where the main airport is of Manchester. I think you can get planes to all sorts of places there. Like America, South America, Asia as well. It's like a big international airport, one of the biggest ones in the country, sort of behind your likes of Heathrow and places like that. But yeah, we're coming towards the centre again. This is Piccadilly, as I mentioned just about 5 minutes ago. We're going to see what other sights we can see. Obviously Manchester's quite condensed. When you get into the centre, there's all these sort of buildings, all this cultural stuff, really close together. And we're going to head up north now. I think that's like a really nice library. You've got this really old library. It's a bit like Hogwarts from Harry Potter, really. Sort of really old fashioned and grand, so to speak. Yeah, so we're going to follow this here. This is Manchester Arena, where you see all the latest shows and stuff, next to Victoria train station. So it means you're on the right path. We're heading directly north, as the top left shows us. It's not too far away now. We're sort of leaving the main bit of Manchester, and soon, not too far away, we'll be close to Heaton Park. So Heaton Park, it's sort of a park in the north of Manchester, obviously. And it's the largest park actually in Europe. Like when you think of parks in Europe, you think of obviously Hyde Park or Regent's Park down in London, and I'm sure there's plenty of other places. The park that the Eiffel Tower in Paris is located, but no, Heaton Park takes the biscuits. Heaton Park is the biggest one out of all of them, which is quite something. I don't think it's as big as Central Park over in New York, but who knows? Like, you never know. I'd have to find out that one. But yeah, as you can see, we've got a little bit of water in the distance. That are luminous blue water. I don't know what they put into that, but it looks quite funky, doesn't it? Yeah, and that's like the centre of Heaton Park, really. Yeah, it's such a big park that it's not got one water lake, it's actually got two. It's that big. And I've walked around this smaller lake close to us in real life, and it's not small whatsoever, even though it looks tiny from here. Tiny for our little plane. But yeah, this is Heaton Park here. It's basically surrounded by these roads, but it's absolutely huge. Okay, so we're just about approaching Heaton Park right now. It's surrounded by all of these roads around here. As you can see, it is pretty big. Obviously, being up in the sky, being this high up, it makes everything look a bit smaller than it actually is. But if you walk from one end to another, that is a big, hefty walk. As you can see, it's not got one lake, it's got two lakes. It's massive. It's actually huge, and like this lake looks small, but that's a good sort of 10-15 minutes to walk around in its entirety. As you can see, it's such a gorgeous park. It's got a nice little hall here, and it's got cafes, it's got all sorts really. You name it, it's probably got it. And it's not actually too far away from the countryside. You can sort of see all the hills in the distance. It's actually quite beautiful. But I'm going to do a quick U-turn and head back towards the centre of Manchester. Hopefully we'll start to see the skyscrapers back again. Yeah, there they are. So we're heading directly south now, back towards the centre of Manchester, back towards sort of the Etihad Stadium, Old Trafford, all the skyscrapers, you name it, it's all here. So we're going to head towards the centre and then sort of take it back to the airport where we started. So we're going to be landing on quite a short runway. Well, it's not, is it a runway? It's made out of grass, so it's not even a airport, it's more sort of an airfield because we're literally landing in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere. Yes, I'm just going to slowly reduce the speed a bit just so we can get a better view of the centre of Manchester. Let's just look at the exterior. Let's see how beautiful Microsoft Flight Sim can really be. 1,000 feet up and everything looks sort of pretty realistic. This down here, this is the default scenery from Microsoft Flight Simulator itself, so it's not actually sort of that realistic or photogrammetry. But then you can probably notice a bit of a difference here, sort of the middle of the screen, where it goes from the default to the Google Maps photogrammetry. Again, I imported it. It was a mod. I'll link it in the description because it's a great mod. But obviously, if you want to use it, it's at your discretion. I think that's a prison down there, if I'm not mistaken. Each of these wings are obviously holding quite a few cells. It's quite weird how it's so close to Manchester and like the arena here. Yeah, that's the National Football Museum that I think I pointed out earlier. It's quite a distinctive building, as you can see. It's a bit of a ski slope almost, isn't it? Yeah, so we're right in the centre. I'm going to gain a bit of altitude and fly towards Trafford Center. But first, let me change the time of day because, oh, look at that gorgeous sunset. And this is the best thing about Flight Sim, just being able to change the time like that. All this gorgeous lighting is actually custom lighting by the people who made this mod as well for photogrammetry. Isn't it just incredible? Like, it's quite realistic, all of this yellowy stuff all around Manchester. This actually blew my mind when I downloaded it and played it for the first time. It's just incredible. I think all of this is sort of custom lit as well. So we're heading back towards Media City, where all the sort of TV shows are filmed. Oh, but just look at that. I think that's Heaton Park there, one of these sort of black spots. Yeah, so we're about to fly over Old Trafford again, but this time it's all lit up. It's almost as if there's like a Premier League match kicking off at like 8 o'clock or something. Oh, it's just beautiful. The red and white lighting. I'm not even a fan of Man United. You probably would have thought I was, going by how amazed I am at this. But look at that. That is incredible. The mod's done an absolutely amazing job at this. Aeroflot Russian Airlines is a bit of a weird sponsor in Microsoft Flight Sim. Oh, but look at that. It doesn't get any better than that. And you've got the cricket ground over there. I think that's also called Old Trafford. It's quite confusing, isn't it? Yeah, but let's head it towards the Trafford Center, for the massive shopping centre. And this is like the best bit, I think, with this custom lighting. You'll be able to see in a second how incredible it is. Let me just get it to sunset here. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Wonder why there's like green, purple and yellow lights over there, over in Media City. That's sort of quite snazzy, isn't it? But if you're enjoying this video and you want to sort of see more videos like this, more sort of flying, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it if you could sort of comment any particular routes you want me to do or any particular locations. Even if there's no sort of photogrammetry in the actual Bing Maps or basically what Microsoft Flight Simulator use, I can maybe try and find mods like this, which basically spikes the area up, you know. Look at this. This is the Trafford Center. Let me take it a little darker and look at that, beautiful. It's really like this in real life, like all these sort of aquamarine, acid green type lights, type vibes. Even the car park's all lit up nicely. Oh, and even the driving range, look at that. Looks like you can play it at night. The mini golf course just to the left of it. Oh yeah, that's the stadium as well, that's near the airport. So what I'm going to do now is, after we've looked at that amazing nighttime Serenity once more, I'm going to flip it over to the daytime, yeah, about 1 PM, why not, so we can locate the runway. Oh, so there it is. So I'm going to do a little U-turn and then come in for my final. So I'm going to try and land on runway 26 left. Oh no, I could actually fly it in from the other way. What way would be nicer? Maybe if I do a quick U-turn here. So I'm going to ease back in the throttle a little bit. It's just a warning, I'm not the best at landings, but I'm going to give it a good go. So let's try and get it to about 80 knots, 80 miles an hour. That's this left, top left dial here. Let's start spinning it round. Losing a bit of altitude, that's good. We want to get to about 700 feet at the moment. Might even think about deploying a level of flaps just to slow us down a little more. So when we come into land, would want this to be pointing directly towards 26. I'm actually losing quite a lot of altitude, so I'm just going to make sure I'm sort of pointing upwards a bit. There we go. So let's just go down here for sort of 10-20 seconds just so we've got a bit of breathing space. And now hopefully I can start to make a final turn. So I'm going to deploy one level of flaps there. So that's the stadium there. And if we have a look, the runway's just about there. Well, I'm losing quite a lot of airspeed. So let me just bring in power a bit. Could do with a bit more power. And then let's make our final turn over to 260, and hopefully we can start to line it up with the runway. Oh, so there it is. So if I pull out a bit, you can see it directly on the right of the screen. I'm going to deploy one more level of flaps, and then now I can make the final turn. Just a very small turn this, but I want to land at about sort of 55-60 knots, so this is good at the moment. There it is. We're on the runway heading now, so we need to reduce our speed, keep our altitude nicely coming down. Hopefully it can be a good landing. So we're just going over the M60 now, so that means we're really close to the stadium on our left. We're on towards 260, no 26L, 26 left I should say. We are quite low, let's just trim it up a bit. But we do have to stop pretty quickly, because this runway, it doesn't mess about. There we are, beautiful. Could do with going down a bit more. Let's reduce the power, just so we can lose a bit of altitude. Then once I get over the runway, I'll cut it off, cut all the power off. So I'll do that now. Then we can begin to float. So we need to get the aircraft down. There we go, beautiful touchdown. That was incredible, if I say so myself. It was like butter in the bread. If you've ever buttered some bread, I know you would understand what I mean. That was incredible. So I'm just going to put it back to the terminal. Oh, it's just to the left here. Yeah, beautiful. Used about half runway there, 2/3. This is such an incredible sort of airfield as well, because it's sort of all custom made. I think it was handcrafted by Asobo Studios for people who made this game themselves, so it's really top notch. Just got to figure out where to park. If I park near this geezer, I think you, or maybe I'll park next to this plane. I'll just park near here, bring it in, apply a little bit of brake, just getting it nice and close, and there we go. Beautiful. That was incredible. Yeah, look at this scenery. It's gorgeous. I went a bit too far forward, but yeah, we've got plenty of room. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that flight, that sort of small introduction to Manchester and the Cessna 152. It's been a great time having you along with me for this journey. So please comment where you want me to go next, and I really appreciate your feedback. Anything you enjoyed about the video, anything I could improve. But there's only one more thing for me to say. Get out there and keep on flying.